Everything was going great for Marcel Siem in the early 2010s. From 2010 to 2014, he'd won 3 European Tour tournaments and earned over $5 million in prize money. This culminated at the 2014 BMW Masters in China, where he held this chip on the first playoff hole to take home his 4th European Tour title and over $1 million in prize money. With Martin Kaymer dominating that year's US Open, German golf fans foresaw a bright future for their players. But no one could have predicted the implosion that would follow. Struggling to deal with his own high expectations, Marcel would go on to lose his ability to play professional golf at the highest level. In fact, years of taking bad advice and dealing with injuries would nearly cause him to retire from the game altogether. This is the story of the rise and fall and rise of Marcel Siem, one of the best comeback stories in golf. To truly understand the man behind the ponytail, we need to go back to his youth. Born in 1980 in Mettmann, Germany to 2 restaurateurs, Marcel saw Overbach Castle, his home course, as a big playground. When he was 6, he was the youngest German to have an official handicap. At age 14, he won his first club championship, and after celebrating his 20th birthday, he turned professional with a handicap of +6, the lowest in Europe at the time. He first tried playing in Europe's second-tier pro circuit, the Challenge Tour, but was not able to break through. He had to rely on Q-School, a 3-stage 12-round tournament to earn his European Tour card. He did so on his 3rd attempt, where he went on to make the most of the opportunity by recording his first 6-figure season that year and getting his first win 2 years later. From this point on, his results would fluctuate immensely. His aggressive playstyle started becoming a double-edged sword. He'd miss the cut one week, have a chance to win in the next, and follow that up with a bang-average performance. Brash, outgoing, and wearing his heart on his sleeve, Marcel was known as a reactive and emotional player. This made him a character and an exciting watch for the fans, but also had its downsides. In the second round of the 2004 German Masters, he snapped his driver on the 18th tee after a bad tee shot, which made some of the younger fans following him cry. That moment haunted him, and he said so in an interview a few years later. That was the worst incident, and I was close to tearing up after seeing the low ones crying. After that moment, I swore to be an idol, and that was the turning point for me, big time. And despite that turning point only bearing fruit 8 years later after winning the 2012 French Open, Marcel went on a 3-year winning streak by capturing the 2013 Moroccan Open and the 2014 BMW Masters, taking home over $4.5 million in the process. Nevertheless, even with his new relaxed approach, he stood out like a sore thumb amongst the very serious personalities of both Bernhard Langer and Martin Kaymer. Interestingly, Siem worked with the same coach as Kaymer did, which makes the correlation of the upward and downward trends of their careers, which happened at virtually the same time, freakishly similar. While Kaymer's ability to compete slowly declined as his world ranking slipped, Marcel's fall was much more violent. From 2015 to 2017, he only made half of his cuts on the European Tour. At the time, that wasn't really a problem, as he still had a winner's category and could enter most events. The problem came with his performances in the following years. He made 12 cuts and 42 appearances, losing his card and playing privileges on the European Tour. While his winless run between 2004 and 2012 could be explained by him being a guy that loved to party, his fall in form between 2014 and 2019 was due to the exact opposite reason. In an interview with the Challenge Tour, he talked about how making drastic changes to play more like other players started his downfall.
And then all of a sudden it went the other way. I was trying to go over to the States. I tried so many new things out, new mental coaches, new technique, new coaches, swing coaches, which was complete nonsense, stupid. I mean, it was the biggest mistake in my life. I think from that point on, I lost the confidence, and I was already in a swing change there. I started to work with 2 different coaches. Confidence, lost.
And that confidence, loss, turned him from a very confident player that would fist bump birdies by the dozen to one that couldn't make one to play the weekend. He was only left with one option, to go back to playing on the Challenge Tour. Having last played a full Challenge Tour season back in 2001, many would have perceived it embarrassing for a 4-time champion to play the lower-tiered league.
Look at that cat!
But now a seasoned professional, he knew that he needed to change his mentality in order to climb out of European golf's second tour. If you don't accept that you lost your card, and you still think you're a European Tour player, and there should be a caddy around you, and you should play for 2 million euros, you cannot compete on the Challenge Tour. There's no chance. You're grumpy and you're upset all the time. Once you make friends on the Challenge Tour and accept that's where you are at, that's the only way forward. I'm very happy that I understood that. This change in perspective was born from his work with Holger Fischer, his new life coach. One of the big things that they worked on was building awareness to who he was as a person. This included going away from the traditional mantra of suppressing emotions while playing and letting his extroverted and confident personality shine out. While this methodology helped him play more consistently, it did not lead to any standout performances. That all changed when he teed up at the 2021 Vendreuil Golf Challenge. Being away from home for the 11th week in a row, he got used to being tired and alone during tournaments. But this week, somebody else ended up joining him. The tour allowed his daughter to accompany him during the round, which seemed to be the emotional kick that he needed, as Marcel ended up winning the tournament by a shot. This qualified him for the 149th Open Championship 2 weeks later at Royal St. George's, where he finished tied 15th, his first major appearance since 2015. Energized by the crowds, he capped off a great 2021 campaign by securing promotion back to the European Tour for 2022. Alas, the year wasn't all good for Marcel, as early in the year, his wife was given a cancer diagnosis.
I didn't talk about it last year because I didn't want to. I was sad, you know. Some players knew it, and they ask you every day, how's your wife? And then it's tough to concentrate. You know, I cried a lot at the beginning of the season in South Africa when it happened, and she started the chemo. So,
looking back, that added pressure is sure to have contributed to many of his reactions on the golf course. Nevertheless, 2022 was a year of self-reflection, where he proved that he did belong on the European Tour. He still had to go through Q School again, as he needed a good category to continue playing the best events, but he easily retained his card by placing 13th. Furthermore, he made full use of his playing privileges by starting off his 2023 season with a bang. He had 5 top 20 finishes, including a T5, getting his season underway nicely. His next tournament, the Hero Indian Open, would once again turn his life upside down. Playing the DLF Golf and Country Club, one of the harder courses on the calendar, it was a great opportunity to have a breakthrough performance. Always within the top 5, but never leading, Marcel would make his charge during the last round of the tournament. Trailing by 1 shot, he would outplay his compatriot Yannick Paul by making 5 birdies and 1 bogey to take the lead by 1 heading into the last hole. However, he would have to face 1 more obstacle before he could complete his comeback. Standing on the tee of the last hole, a long par 5, he knew that 1 mistake could mean the end of the tournament. Therefore, he chose to play the hole conservatively. After hitting a good drive, he was left with an 8-iron to lay up in front of the water. An easy shot, one he's hit thousands of times. He's nearly there. Oh no, that's a poor layup. And he's got a horrible lie too. Well, he needs to hit the ball on the green and 2-putt for the win. His last chance. Wow, that was close. After that, he 2-putted and easily holed out for his first European Tour win in over 8 years. Marcel didn't have lofted expectations for the week. My goal was a top 10. I didn't have the feeling that I was going to win. But he did, and that helped him earn over $1.25 million in 2023, making it the 3rd best year of his career. He started off the 2024 season with a 16th place finish in Mauritius that earned him over $15,000 in prize money. Good start. We can only wait and see if he continues on his form over the next years. Siem is definitely a player I will start following from now on. If you want to see a video about Wilson Golf, the brand that Marcel played as a junior, and the story behind how it lost its standing as the world's biggest golf brand, click the video on screen.